dog products I stand behind. For training treats or everyday treats, I stand behind the company Zoox. Normally I use the meaty, flavored, larger chunk ones that are for the hip and joint. This is the first time I've gotten the baked pumpkin and sweet potato, and I ordered these off of Amazon. It came in a 2-pack of these bags. Never can I ever claim that I have ever ordered a dog treat that I like the smell of. Not tolerate, I actually like the smell of these. They have a line through the middle of them so you can break them in half. I will show you one. Looks like a large pill, which is a little off-putting, but they're not crumbly. You have a line down the middle of them. You can break them in half. And my dogs go crazy for them, just as much as they do the meat ones. And they clean the teeth. And so I break them down into smaller bits. They're still kind of large, but the bag goes a very long way. I have 3 large dogs, and this bag goes a long way. I ordered these over a month ago, and we're still going through them. I have them in a jar. It keeps them fresher. I don't like messing with stuff. I just put the last of that bag into my jar. But I very much like these. The dogs like these. The meat ones, I normally have to break them up into pieces, and they have a tendency to go stale a little bit. But I do like these very much. These are vegan, and they are corn, wheat, and soy free. I do not feed my dogs grain, such as corn, so that's a plus. Corn is not good for dogs. Do not feed your dogs anything with corn. They can't digest corn. As far as it goes with the ingredients and stuff, it's a oatmeal based, and bran, and pumpkin, sweet potato, carrot, potato. This does have some pea fiber, but keep in mind this is a treat, not a dog food. I will not feed a dog food that has any pea containment in it, anything with that, or lentil, or anything based in that way. So this is really nice. I do not believe in feeding. The only reason why I look for this in the treat, because I do believe in feeding dogs meat, is training treats I'm very particular about, and you can't find training treats that are easy to pass my particular criteria, because I like to know where it's being made through. You can't find training treats that are manufactured in the type processing plants that I like my foods processed, or anything like that. So most of the time I make my own training treats, but if I need to take any kind of training treats anywhere else, or if I don't want meat smell on my hands, this is what I use. This is for those times. That's also why I don't go through them as much. And I really like what this does to my dog's breath. These smell amazing. I don't know what makes that gorgeous smell, but these smell amazing. I love them. Now on to the food. This is what I feed my dogs. Each bag is 25 pounds. I have one dog that is 90 pounds, one dog that is 60 pounds, and another dog that's 90 pounds, but he's not fully grown. He's under 2 years old. So he'll probably top out at 100 or maybe 120 pounds full grown. So I have an English Bulldog, a German Shepherd, and a Bouvier de Flanders currently. Sometimes that count goes up, sometimes that count goes down. But I at least have these three. One of them is an older dog. The English Bulldog is 7 years old. The German Shepherd is 3 years old. And the Bouvier is my puppy. He's not 2 years old yet. So it takes me about 2 weeks to go through 2 bags. And I ordered this from Chewy.com, which, you know, I am a wheelchair user, and this food is not available just to go in the store and grab. I've been using Chewy for years. They are amazing. I absolutely love them beyond measure. I mean, if there's an issue, they are so quick to take care of it. But really, it's never really an issue on their problem or their fault. It's FedEx. And you never have to worry because they are right on the spot to take care of it. And they get it done. I love Chewy. They're amazing. And it really takes the problem off of me going and getting it. The reason why I love this food is it does not contain any peas or lentils or anything like that. And it's real lamb. It's not lamb protein, it's not sprayed on, and it contains no chicken. One of my dogs does have a chicken allergy, and it's very difficult to find any foods that does not contain at least some form of chicken, whether it be just the water that's ran over the chickens and put into the food as a encouragement for them to eat it, or even as a protein source. How things are worded on these dog food bags is very important. If it says lamb, then it has actual lamb meat. The next ingredient would be lamb meal. That means that is the leftovers after the lamb slaughter. That is different. That is the secondary down step from the lamb. You have to be careful how it's worded. When it's been processed and it's just beaks and feathers and stuff like that, and the water that was sprayed over stuff like that, they can still say it is a form of chicken, but it's going to be worded in a different way. It's not going to say it contains chicken with nothing behind the word chicken. And sometimes when it says chicken free or non-chicken, or it says all beef, if you look in the fine print near the end of the ingredient list, it will still list chicken. So you have to be very careful when you have an animal that is allergic to chicken or has chicken allergies. So that is a problem that we ran across. And this is why I feed this. Because even though only one of my animals has chicken allergies, you better believe my dogs like to share their foods. We feed them separately, but I have 2 dogs that will not eat unless they are right beside each other eating. And they will actually share because my Shepherd is very bonded to my Bouvier. And they treat each other like this, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I had to put everybody on it. Once I put my 2 on it, it just didn't make any sense not to put my husband's Bulldog on it too. So everybody's on it. And it's such a high quality food, you really don't have to feed them much. It goes a long way. And they're very happy on it. They're glossy coated. They're on an excellent weight. I gave you my dog's weights. They eat 2 cups each. The young dog, he only eats 2 cups. He's 25 inches in the withers. He's a growing dog, and he does very well on it, and he's got a healthy weight. My female Shepherd, she's more high energy than my big Bouvier. My Bouvier is mellow. Now she is high energy, but she's much smaller. She is a Czech import, and she's only 23 inches in the withers, and she has a much smaller frame and less bone than him, but she is high energy. She's on the go constantly. So she's working, and running, and she thinks she's a Malinois. She's a crazy girl. So she has the same serving as him, but she requires it or she starts dropping weight a little bit because she just burns it off. She's constantly burning it off. Bulldog is a little older, so we have to adjust his according to what he's doing. He's 7 years old, but he is a heavy body dog. He's got a big frame. Sometimes he's more active than other times, so we adjust him between a cup and 2 cups, depending upon if he's picking up too much weight or if he's dropping weight. He adjusts back and forth. So this is a very good food. It's worth the price because, as I said, you're not really feeding them that much. This does contain taurine, which is excellent for the health of the heart, and it is holistic. And you can feed dogs or puppies. This is a very versatile food. So I absolutely suggest this food. I am not as pleased with this company's other foods in their other lines. This is the only food that they have that I suggest. Each company has different lines of food and they are all treated differently and they all have different ingredients. This company's other lines of food I do not recommend. I only feed this particular line. I have been feeding it for 2 years now, and I've had amazing results with it. I also have a couple other brands of food that I do recommend, and I absolutely love. Some of them cost less. Some of them have different ingredients. I'm happy to answer any questions with anyone about it. There has been a lot of investigation that I do in dog foods. I have, since the 1980s, been researching dog food and dog nutrition. I am very careful what I feed my dogs, down to the point that when I'm looking for a new dog food, I will actually research who manufactures it, what plant is it manufactured at, who gets their hands on it, where are the ingredients resourced. If it's a fish-based, does it have ethoxyquin in it? Because they don't have to list that ingredient on the bag because it's a preservative for the fish, but it gives dogs cancer. So they don't have to say it's in the bag because it comes on the fish that they put the fish in the bag. So there's lots of ins and outs when you're selecting a dog food that you may never ever know just by looking at the dog food. When you take your cooking oil to be from the restaurant to the place to dump it, cheap foods will take and spray it over a corn-based food, and that's why when they have a paper bag and there's residue on the inside of the bag seeped into the bag and it's dark splotches, it's because it's got oil sprayed over that corn food to make the dog want to eat it. And they also use rendering plant fats. And when those rendering plants get the stuff, they also take rendering plant animals and grind that protein into it as well. And that's some really bad stuff. Please look it up. There was a book written in the 1980s about this, and some animals got a hold of bad food that way, and it still happens today. Animals that are euthanized on farms are put into those rendering plants. Animals have been poisoned by dog food that from animals that were put down and had the euthanization meds in them. and then they get poisoned by those meds from the animal food made from those rendering plants. This bag, you can notice, is a high quality bag. It keeps anything from getting to the food, leaching into the food. There is no residue whatsoever on the inside of this bag to make it feel bad at all. It doesn't smell bad. It has a pleasant smell. When you're looking at food for yourself, you really want to judge the food for yourself like you would your animals. I wouldn't feed my animals any lesser quality than I would want for myself. I eat a healthy diet. I don't eat preservatives. I don't eat bad things for my body and fuel my body with bad things, so why would I do it to my animals? Grains, you have to watch what types you feed your dogs, just like humans do. Peas and lentils have been proven both bad for humans on large scale consumptions. If you're going to eat a meal here and there with peas, that's fine. But using it as a staple in a dog food on a daily basis has proven to hurt dogs and give them heart problems and give them heart attacks. Cardiologists, you have to forgive me, I do have neurological disease. Cardiologists for humans have backed this up for humans as well. Too many peas and lentils in a human's diet can act the same exact way for humans as it does for dogs. So when they're trying to get protein into some of these dog foods and they don't want to use enough meat, they will substitute into their different things. And when they're trying to get the fiber up, they'll use beet pulps, they'll use peas, lentils, trying to get that protein level up without the cost of meat. And then they just spray the juices from the meats onto the animal food and charge still a high price. Some priced foods, you can't go by price and say, oh, it costs a lot, so this must be a good food. You can't judge that either, because there are some high priced foods I won't feed because the ingredients do not support it. I'm sorry. I might have to end this soon because I also have breathing problems. Foods like Arcana, I will not feed that. I judge foods exactly by the nutrition and the knowledge that I have gained by studying nutrition for animals and for dogs since I began learning about the bad things in dogs. Back in the 80s, I read that book, and unfortunately, it was because I had a bad batch of dog food. Back then, we didn't have the choices in dog foods that we have these days. And I lost 4 puppies out of a litter of search and rescue dogs. It was horrible. They had strychnine poisoning from canned dog food. Even today, we don't have that many choices when it comes to canned dog food, and you have a litter of puppies that you need to soften their food when they're changing from mama to weaned. And I educated myself. And I implore every dog owner to really educate yourself. I have also fed raw diet, and many people do not educate themselves properly or feed a proper raw diet. You must have the right ingredients. You have to feed the internal organs to have a proper raw diet. And most people cannot get their hands on those items. They cannot get brain. They cannot get pancreas. They cannot get green tripe because the stores will not sell it to you. The slaughterhouses are not permitted to sell it to you. So unless you are hunting or you are keeping animals yourself, and you're not allowed to slaughter large animals at your home, you have to take them to an ADA permitted, I'm sorry, not an ADA. Again, I have issues. You have to take them to a government approved slaughter facility. And then you cannot have those items back. Even though you owned the animal you took to slaughter, you cannot have those items. When I did live in Pennsylvania for 10 years, I fed raw because I could get those items from the Amish. And I fed raw up there, and it was amazing. When dogs are able to be fed raw correctly, it is the best option. But if you cannot feed raw correctly, then your dogs are lacking. Do I give my dogs some raw stuff? Yes, I do. But you cannot feed it as part of their meal with the kibble. It must be separate from the kibble. They digest at 2 different rates. You cannot mix raw in with it. And do not feed your dogs weight-bearing bones, even raw, like chicken legs, chicken thighs, and please don't feed raw pork. Deer taken in warm season, like roadkill, anything that's wilderness in warm season will have a lot of parasites. Yes, even if you deworm your dogs regularly, like I do, you still do not feed anything that is highly parasite ridden with difficult parasites to kill. Because the wormers are not made to kill some of these parasites. And deer have a problem all over our country right now with wasting disease and everything else. Please be careful what you feed your beloved animals. I'm always about the best care of my animals. Everything I do is geared towards better care for animals. As always, if anyone has any questions, they are very welcome to contact me, and I will help you as much as I can, and I will answer any questions. Thank you.